What is up? It's Mackie and Amanda.
I'm Mackie.
I'm Amanda. And we're the Spooky Boos. It is day 3 of Spooktober. They're all blending together because we are making so much content this month. Give this video a thumbs up because I'm not saying at the end of the video again. Thumbs up. We are working our booties off. We actually just finished filming at the Winchester Mystery House, which is the video you guys saw yesterday. Right before this. If you didn't watch it, go watch it because it was crazy. We had the entire mystery house to ourselves. We just had our tour guide showing us around, taking us to each of the rooms. And this video is a little bit different. We are still in San Jose, but we thought we might share a little bit of spooky stories with you guys. So these were all sent in from fans, and we picked our top 3 to share today. The first one we're about to tell is my favorite story I've ever heard. It's just so cool, and it's all around just a good story and heartwarming. It's not scary. No. I mean, it's not, if you are scared of any type of spirit, it might be scary for you, but it's just a good story. No, it's like heartfelt, right? Yeah. And with that being said, if you guys have any scary stories that you want us to share, send them to us. You can email or DM them to us, and you might be featured in one of our videos. And if you like these videos, let us know, because this is our first time ever doing something like this. So with that, I say we get into it. Let's do it. If you haven't yet, go check out our merch, super limited edition. You only have a little bit of time to get an order in for it, and then it's gonna be gone completely. It's exclusive to October. And one more thing, we started a Patreon. So we have different levels, anything from group chats, private chats, live streams, early access to videos, exclusive content that you will only see on Patreon, all that good stuff. If you're interested in that, go give us a follow on Patreon, and we are the Spooky Boos. Back when I was a captain in the fire department, we responded to a house fire very early in the morning. When we arrived, the roof was breached and the flames had taken out 2 windows on the 2nd floor of a split-level home. We made entry, and even though the roof was breached, the thermocline was about 2 feet off the 1st floor. We wouldn't have gone in at all, but a child was missing, and the father and mother had gone out of the house, but they couldn't get to their daughter's room. The father was being treated for burns on his hands and forearms as he had tried to go in after her. Suffice to say, they were frantic. They had told us that her room was on the 2nd floor, 2nd door on the right. Simple enough. We made entry, and the stairs faced the door. Rapid bursts from the TFT to the ceiling brought the smoke level up to about 4 feet from the floor. So they couldn't see anything. Nothing. That's when my hand lineman and I saw something that neither of us could explain. I saw a motion to my left down on the main floor. Someone was walking around downstairs. I pointed to my hand lineman, and he saw it too. We couldn't see a body as the person was in the smoke, but we could see the legs and feet clearly. It looked to be a man wearing olive green trousers and leather shoes. I wouldn't say that the legs were dancing, but they were certainly moving in a way to get our attention. We redirect back down the stairs. So they're leaving, going to the 2nd floor to get to this little girl. We redirect back down the stairs and see the legs go into a door on the right side of this small hallway. We both saw the legs go into that room. We get down the hallway and the door is closed. Feeling the door, there weren't any flames behind it, and we made entry to discover that we were in the bathroom. The light was on, and curled up in the bathtub was the little girl. No one else was in the room with her. I have goosebumps. I know. It gets crazier though. We broke out the window and got her to a 2nd crew keeping the house next door from catching fire. We looked around the bathroom again and couldn't find the man we'd both seen going into the bathroom. There was nowhere for him to hide in there. We withdrew from the house and did exposure control as the whole house was a complete loss with the fire already ingressing into the living room. The parents had gone with their daughter to the hospital where she was checked and cleared to go home later that morning. The man suffered only 1st and small 2nd-degree burns to his hands and forearms. The family stopped by the station and wanted to thank us for saving their daughter. They asked us how we knew to check the 1st floor bathroom. and I asked them if they knew anything about a man in olive green trousers and leather shoes. The man pulled out his phone, after a minute of thinking, showed us a picture of two old men standing in a lawn. One of the men was clearly wearing olive green trousers and leather shoes.
The man we had seen on the first floor had passed away in 1976 and was the man's father. The little girl's grandfather had shown us where she was. We all were speechless. It's the only time I've seen a ghost or any response.
That's literally mind-blowing to me. Literally, This house was in flames, going up, and they went back in to save this little girl. They had clear instructions on where she was located from the parents. And they saw an apparition, a spirit. They saw her grandfather lead them away from where she was and into a bathroom.
And it's like the part that just really like sells it for me is this guy didn't want anyone to know who he was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I promise you'll be completely anonymous, but this is just one of the best stories I've ever heard. And he just wanted none of the attention. He's a fire captain who's never seen something like this and just wanted to share a story.
I've heard a lot of crazy stories involving demonic entities or negative entities, but you rarely hear stories where like this little girl's grandfather saved her life. They would have gone into her room on the second floor, risking their lives, and she wouldn't have been there. But he was able to show himself, or decided to show himself, to save his, like, I have full body chills, Mackie.
And it was the one room that there were no flames inside of.
The bathroom. How did she get down to the bathroom?
And another thing is, it just kind of like shows you that when your loved ones pass away, they really still are looking out for you, protecting you and around you.
That is so funny that you bring this up. But I did a reading for the reading that I traded for a haircut.
Okay.
And I texted the woman afterwards and I go, one more thing. And I had never heard this before. I've heard it since.
Yeah.
But she wants you to like pay attention to reflections. Right?
Weird.
So I'm thinking like if she's in the car and she looks in the rearview mirror, you know how sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, did I see something?
Yeah. Or you're like terrified you're gonna look in the rearview mirror and see someone.
Yeah, okay, I live that life.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So when I said that, I was thinking like maybe like water or like the rearview mirror reflection in the bathroom wash. I don't know. That was just what came to my head. It wasn't for me. It wasn't my message. I don't have to worry about it anyways.
Yeah.
But she ended up a couple months later, the hill in her backyard is super steep. And it's absolutely gorgeous landscaping. She was up there working and she fell down the hill and like off the retaining wall at the end, broke her pelvis or her hip or something gnarly. It like when she told me that she fell, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're texting.
Yeah.
But she goes, here's the thing. Also, someone just walked in.
This hotel isn't supposed to be haunted. For once in our life, we stay at a normal person hotel. We're like, oh, a normal, decent hotel. Let's go there.
It never is a decent hotel for me.
Wait, so who's here?
I don't know.
Is he still here?
It's a woman.
Oh, what is she doing?
She's very short. Did you hear that? That was weird.
Yeah.
So like, did you hear that?
Yes. Sound like the bag.
Yeah.
Wait, what does she look like?
She's so short. Like.
Well, obviously when you say that, Sarah Winchester comes to my mind.
Sarah was 4'10". That's why all the doors and everything are so short.
It did for me too. She's like super no, she's like, yeah, she's like not even 5 foot.
Sarah Winchester wasn't 5 foot.
Yeah, you're right. Did you know? Yes. What is called? Right. All of this started when she walked in. Here's the thing too, is people sometimes say like, that we have someone in the room with us.
Oh.
Or behind the camera. I hate to move this because this was
Go for it.
so nicely placed. But like we're literally in here alone, you guys.
I didn't even know people said that.
This is the closet. This is the bathroom. Like not even anyone under the sink. And this is the rest of the room. There's a little...
Is she still here?
No, I can't.
What?
Like I can feel her, but I'm not seeing her anymore.
Wait, so what'd she look like?
I honestly couldn't even tell you that much. Like I saw her for 2 seconds out of the corner of my eye because I was looking at the camera, and then when I looked at, she was from like the hallway area, not hallway, the closet area. Didn't even make it past that white wall into the room.
What if it was Sarah Winchester? Because what other woman is that short?
Probably many. Probably
Like,
many.
just like the odds of us being at the Winchester house.
Today, yeah, and she's like 4'8".
4'8", yeah.
She's 4'8". That's almost a foot height difference between me and Sarah Winchester.
That's crazy. Why are we hearing all these noises now?
Anyways, like I was saying before I saw that woman and then all those noises started happening, was that reflection thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she ended up falling down the backyard like hill and off the retaining wall, and she landed. It's not funny. And it's like she's okay.
Yeah.
And she landed on the concrete like at her back door, and she goes, I looked up and I saw my mother's reflection. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And she's like, I should have died. Like I could have died.
Yeah.
Like that's a gnarly tumble.
It is.
And she's like, I was okay, like as okay as you can be. And she saw her mother's reflection.
That's so cool.
So
well, it's not cool that she fell,
No,
but
yeah,
like
but
her
like,
mom was looking out
They
for her.
can't, yeah, she's like, I think my mom saved my life, you
Oh my
know? Just like this little girl's grandpa like showed up for the first time to complete strangers to save her life.
There's so many stories, and this one is just, I don't know why, it's my favorite I've ever heard.
It's by far my favorite I've ever heard
Yeah.
too. Thank you so much for sending it in, and thank you even more for letting us share it with others out there, because like what you experienced is truly a blessing, you know?
It's comforting to a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah. Alright, this next one is a little more spooky.
1, 2, for me. So this one comes from, her name is Adeline, I hope I pronounced that right, and she says, my name is Adeline, and boy do I have a story for you.
Boy, did she.
Yeah, she did. Back in 2016, my parents made the decision to move me and my brothers from Oklahoma to Illinois because of a job offer that my dad got from my grandpa. He has his own logging company and thought it would be the perfect fit for my dad. So we moved that September to Illinois.
We lived with my grandparents for about a year, I guess, before we found a house in the town just perfect size for my family. My grandma worked in a real estate office, so she knew what houses were available to rent in town. One day after school, she took me and my family to look at this house, and upon just putting one foot in the door, I could feel the presence of someone.
But I never said anything until we moved in, and things started to be more clear to me. I would see and hear things all the time. I knew it was an older man who was very big and broad, a very tall man. He told me that he had killed himself, but it was unclear as to how. I was stuck between him hanging himself or if it was a gunshot wound.
But I only shared that with my mom, that I had been experiencing some weird things. But she would just tell me it was nothing, that nothing was in the house, and it was all in my head. Well, been there.
Yeah, right. I know, at first I'm like, this sounds like Amanda.
It wasn't that she didn't believe me. It was that ever since I was born, I had had these things happen. And it was in every single house we had ever lived in. So she just wanted a normal house with nothing there, but that isn't possible when someone like me has the ability to just attract these kinds of things.
It wouldn't be too long before my mom would finally have her first experience happen. As I stated before, my dad was going to work for my grandpa. It didn't work out the way they wanted to, so my dad got another job that required him to travel a lot. So he'd be gone for a week or so and home for a few days before he had to leave again. So a lot of the time it was just me, my mom, and my brothers there.
Well, this night, my dad was away at work and my mom was asleep in her room by herself. Usually my little brother would sleep with her, but this night he did not. My mom had awoken around 2:30, 3 a.m. with the TV on but the volume all the way down. So she turns the TV on, TV off, and tries to go to sleep. As she's laying there, she hears the doorknob click, and when she opens her eyes, the door is swinging open.
She lay there expecting to see my brother walk in, but she never sees or hear anyone or anything. As you can imagine, this freaked her out, so she came running into my room and woke me up to tell me that she now believes me. What I've been telling her is happening to her.
My little brother has also seen this man. One night, him and my other brother slept in my mom's room and I slept on the couch. The next morning, my mom had seen that my little brother wasn't there, so she walked around the house thinking that he had just gotten up early, but was asleep in his room. She asked why he had left, and he said it was a tight squeeze because Dad was laying next to you. But my dad was gone out of state at work at the time, and he had forgotten and thought he was laying next to my mom. He had told her that he had seen a man sleeping right next to her. So that was even more validation for us.
That's my worst nightmare, right there.
Could you imagine, like, your little kid coming up to you the next day and telling you that there was a man asleep in the bed with you, and you have absolutely no idea who it could have been?
No, that's like the scariest thing I've heard. First of all, little kids at night when they get up out of
Little
bed.
kids at night, just in general.
They freak me out. It's like, why are you up? Like, coming in, like, why are you scared? Like, what is it? Then a little kid telling me that they saw a man sleeping next to you, so they left because there wasn't enough room.
And so much so that, like, they couldn't crawl in bed with you.
Because it was too tight of a fit.
Weird.
Oh, and that's not the end of the story, by the way. It gets weird.
No.
This time my dad was leaving for work that morning and was going to be gone for a few weeks. He had told me before he left that he was stopping at my mom's hospital that she worked at and was going to tell her bye, and that he wanted me to make sure the dishes got done before she got home so she wouldn't have to worry about it. So I got up and started to do them that morning so I wouldn't have to worry about it later. So as he left out the side door in the kitchen, my little brother went out the front to play and I never saw him come back in.
As I'm doing the dishes, I didn't realize I didn't have a towel to put the wet dishes on to dry. So I go to my parents' room, and when I was there, I heard a lot of movement in the garage, and immediately thought it was my brother because I had just seen him walk out the front door. And by this time, he had been gone for at least 5 minutes. So I'm doing the dishes, and the noise in the garage gets to be louder and louder, almost as if someone is being rushed and going through everything. I turn to my older brother and ask if Owen, the youngest, is outside, and he said no, he's in the bedroom. And I assured him, no, I swear he went outside. And he says no, he's playing in the room for sure.
I go back there to find him sitting on the ground playing with his toys. I freak out and yell, "Someone's in the house!" And we run out, and my dad rushes back, and the cops came and everything. However, there wasn't enough evidence to show that there was a person because we didn't see anyone. But my dad's bow and arrow stuff was lying on the ground that had been mounted on the wall. He is 6 feet and couldn't reach that, and had to get a ladder and hang it up, so how was it on the ground? But this would happen again, but when the middle child, Seth, was home alone.
Bro, this is just never ending for this girl.
And it gets worse.
Me and Seth had also seen this man in my room. I was laying on my bed and all of a sudden felt as if someone had put their hand on my bed to help themselves up off the floor. And I felt the indent and spring pop as the bed went down. I froze, saw him laying on my floor, and at the same time Seth walked by, backed up, and asked, "Who was just sitting on the floor?" Did you hear that?
Yes, what is going on? gosh.
It all started like
When that girl came in.
yeah, I know. Okay.
After we had moved out of the house, I told my grandma all of this, and she said her friend's husband had hung himself in the basement years ago. I was so shook to finally have all this evidence validated and to know that I wasn't making it all up in my head.
There was a family that lived there after us. My mom.
What is going on? If there's a spirit here, can you knock on the wall?
Can you knock a little louder? Can you knock twice?
Stop. There's no way this is happening. Was that just a coincidence? This is the most haunted hotel we've ever been at. We just wanted one peaceful night.
That was terrifying.
That was really scary.
I don't even want to ask again. I want to finish this story.
I do too.
Pitter patter, let's get out of here.
Please. Can you knock louder? Knock. Can you knock twice? Knock, knock.
That scared me. There was a family that lived there after us. My mom and dad helped them move their stuff in the house, and so they knew that we had lived there before them. The neighbor happened to be good friends with us and told us one night that the little girl that lived there came running to his house saying someone broke in. Sound familiar?
Very.
This would happen again, but they would come to our house in the middle of the night. We moved a block down from the old house, saying someone broke in or tried to.
Unfortunately, their father that lived there took his own life, but the family kept saying that he would tell them he would hear people telling him to hurt himself in the house, which confused me because I never had any inkling of a bad spirit or demons in that house ever. But I don't know if he had a mental thing or if something truly was bad enough there that it caused him to take his own life. After he passed, the family was in a rush
To leave that house because they claimed that it was evil and they needed to leave immediately. Again, I never had anything evil happen to me there, nor my family. So very confusing, but maybe they brought it with them.
And she ends it off by saying there's so many more things that I left out because it's a lot, but tell me what you think.
I don't know. Like right off the bat, it just makes me think a lot about my old house.
Yeah.
You know, and I grew up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a demon in that house torturing me for my entire life. Like from the time I moved in at like 1 or 2 till the time that we moved out because of it at 12.
Yeah.
And the family that moved in right after us emailed my mom. We rented it out, so they were our tenants. And they go, this might sound a little strange, but did you guys ever have any experiences with like paranormal activity in the house? My mom was just like, why? And they told us, they go, like, the house is haunted, basically. There's a spirit here who calls each of our family members, like, by name. But don't worry, we like him.
If only they knew.
So, well, yeah. But for me to, like, live in this house my whole life, and it's not like it's something that I brought with me. It's not like it's something that I tempted or tormented or anything like that. Like, I was a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And it tormented me for over a decade. And then the next family moves in and it's just all buddy-buddy with them. Which just reminds me of like it's buddy-buddy with this girl and the next family moves in and it pushed one of them to suicide.
That's very true. Weird.
That's like I have no thoughts. I have no takes.
I mean, that's crazy. Like the stuff that happened there is...
Oh my gosh, it's insane. And the fact that they would see the same thing too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the stories, you guys. First one was such a positive note. We really ended on a crazy banger there. But let us know if you liked this video. Let us know if you want to see more of these spooky stories and spooky content. Keep sending them in. Title it Spooky Story, all capitals, so we'll be able to go through and find them super fast.
And if you do send us a story, make sure you write... I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, anyway, I was going to say, if you guys do share a story with us that you want to be featured, just let us know in the email if you would like us to share your Instagram or any type of social media handle in the video, or if you'd rather be anonymous. So let us know about that.
And anyways, that is video
3
of our Spooktober series. They're just gonna keep getting better. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so you know when we post, and if you really care about us, subscribe. It all helps us out. Share this video with your friend even if they don't watch it.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
we don't care.
But it definitely will help us out in the long run so we can keep going to spooky places like this and more. Peace.